What is going on, everybody? I guess I should start this video off by saying hello. It's been a while. I apologize that there hasn't been a ton of content on the channel in recent weeks, and like I said in the post that I made the other day, that is because I've been deep at work on game design stuff for Seljuk Byzantium Besieged. That's taking up most of my free time right now. I'm in a state where the design is a lot of tweaking, balancing, and playtesting required in order to get the right sort of model that I'm going for, and there's still a lot of work to be done there. So any free moment that I have, I am using it to play or work on the game. But it's rewarding and exciting, and when that starts to slow down, hopefully soon-ish, then I will be uploading more videos, and I do still plan to continue the End of Antiquity series. That is in the works as well right now. It's just slower than I would have liked. However, today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Hollandspiele Sale. So if you did not know, Hollandspiele had a sale, I don't know, last week. It might still be going on, or it may have been for the weekend. I can't remember. But they had a small sale on their library of games. And also to celebrate the launch of this first game here, Nicaea, which came out a couple weeks ago as well. So I'm going to go through kind of what I picked up on the sale. Little spoilers there you can see on the side. But I wanted to kind of go through and just talk a little bit about the games. So first of all, Nicaea, this is one that I'm very excited about. Hollandspiele, as you know, does a lot of games that are usually about topics that don't get covered in war games or historical games very much. And this is one of the only games that I know about the Council of Nicaea, where Constantine the Great was looking for some agreement on the nature of Christianity, and so summoned all of the realm's bishops and clergy to the city of Nicaea in Anatolia. And, you know, they had a very famous council. The graphic design on this game and the production of this game, I think, is one of Hollandspiele's best. You can definitely tell that they're ratcheting up the component quality of their games. And like most Amabel Holland games from Hollandspiele, it comes with a healthy dose of tongue-in-cheek humor. As you can see here on the back, it's the year 325, and it's a pretty chill time to be a Christian. Pretty funny there. Basically, this game, with the setting sort of the Council of Nicaea, is a tableau-building political card game that sort of presents the Council of Nicaea and the arguments that the clergy was having about the nature of Christianity as sort of as a political exercise. So it's a little cynical in that regard, maybe. But it doesn't have the rules aren't very complex, and it looks pretty fun. This looks like the kind of game you can play even really with non-gamers because of what it's about. But some great artwork. This is the manual. What I really loved about it is that the two play mats are canvas. And so if you'll remember something like Optimates and Populares, that game came with canvas play mats, but they're really nicely done. This is the card market sheet, and this is the track that shows what issues, where they are in position, and does some other things as well. It comes with some tokens. I've already punched them. These are victory point tokens that are hidden on one side. And you've got these markers. These are the 5 different, these markers represent, they go here, they represent the 5 different issues that you'll be debating in a game of Nicaea. And those here are things like the nature of Jesus as compared to God. You know, who is like on top of that pantheon hierarchy. You know, basically these really like niche theological topics that were a hot button issue with the clergy and how they gave sermons in the Roman Empire. The calendar that you're supposed to select, and whether or not the Militians were forgiven. So it's pretty cool. Each side, so each of these cards has 2 sides on this particular element, but basically you'll be going through each of these issues kind of in order, and you can basically have these issues happen historically, where you see the A, or the heretical side, which is a B, and so players are going to be trying to get an issue and support for their sort of position of the issue. There's also a deck of action cards that I'll show you. And these are nicely done as well. And so you can see, so it's like you play the cards. There's a cost to play these cards. There's sort of different suits, I guess, factions that these cards affect. But in general, I really like the art. It's really well done. And it looks like a really fun game to play. So I'm excited to get to the table at some point. It plays 4 to 6 players, which is always great. Nice to see Hollandspiele doing more multiplayer games. Looks like it probably plays in, I don't know, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So very excited about this. So that was my first pickup, and then I also picked up a couple other games as well, and there's a reason I bought more than one, which I'll show you at the end. I also picked up Meltwater, a game of tactical starvation, mostly because the license for this was expiring with Hollandspiele from the designer, and I wanted to get it. I've had it on my list for quite some time and just never pulled the trigger for one reason or another. But this is a game about sort of the nuclear apocalypse and the remaining survivors of humanity going to Antarctica to try and survive as the world goes through a massive heat up. Comes with these tokens, it comes with these units, so it's a two-player game. It's kind of a war game from what I understand, but not really. So one player plays the Soviets or the Russians, and one player plays sort of the Americans, sort of fighting for control of the resources of neutral populations over sort of the continent of Antarctica as the world starts to fall apart. And from what I understand, it's a pretty smart game that's got some really interesting mechanics to it, and the topic is just super interesting. So I had to pick it up. I'll show you the map here real quick if I can get it open. Yeah, so it's a hex-based layout over Antarctica, and you can see that it looks like there's resource spots for the Russians and the Americans, you know, and you're going to be fighting for control. And it is a war game in the sense that there is conflict between the players and their units, but it's also about resource management. It just looks like a really interesting game. It also comes with this deck of what are called Doomsday Cards, which looks like it makes catastrophes happen at various points on the map. So again, really looking forward to getting to play this. Hollandspiele just killing it with their subject choice. And Meltwater, I'm really happy to own because I have wanted it for quite some time. I got one more game from Hollandspiele. This one not as part of the sale, but I did get it recently, and I'll show you that now. One of my favorite designers, Brian Train, who has was one of the co-designers of my favorite coin game, A Distant Plane, has a series called District Commander. This is District Commander Kandahar, Afghanistan 2009. I actually picked this up as the Afghanistan stuff was happening, or shortly thereafter. I love Brian Train's designs, and his stuff on modern day sort of Afghanistan, Middle East is second to none in terms of understanding sort of the elements of the conflict over there. I haven't punched this yet. It comes with some cards. I actually don't know how to play. I haven't read the rules, but there are two rule books in here. There's a series rule book, and then there's a rule book for this game. There are other District Commander games. I think there's one that's set in Southeast Asia, and there's maybe one, I forget what the other one's set, but this is the third volume, Afghanistan 2009, and essentially it takes place in Kandahar Province, Afghanistan, and it is a counterinsurgency style game where one player plays sort of the administrative government, if you will, and the other side plays sort of an insurgent faction. But it looks fairly involved, actually. So this is the District Commander like series rule book, and this is actually pretty decently sized for a Hollandspiele game. Clocks in at 15 pages, and that's just for the series. And then there's another rule book here for this actual game. This one clocks in at around, there's a random events table, around 6 pages. I don't know if these are all rules. These might be, yeah, it looks like, yeah, scenarios and rules. But it looks really interesting. This is, you know, Brian Train, like I said, is able to model sort of current events in the Middle East really well with his designs. I just love the approach he brings to stuff. His brain, he's able to think of stuff that works in a game that I never would have. But here's, you can see Kandahar Province. Looks very like a coin game, right? You've got population, you've got sort of the geographic regions, you've got Pakistan on the border. Definitely Kandahar City. Definitely sort of a Distant Plane vibes to this one. I like the map art here. Good color scheme for Afghanistan. So very excited to play this as well. Brian Train is fantastic. If you've never played any of his games, definitely go check those out. I believe he's got like 3 games on Afghanistan. This, A Distant Plane, and then he's got another game called, that was published by One Small Step, I want to say, that's just called Kandahar, which is a little bit confusing. But yeah, just some fantastic stuff. There's the play raid, actually, or the sequence of play in here. There might actually be some other stuff in here. Let's see. Yeah, we got some play raids as well. Got the sequence of play. Looks pretty, and here's the mission chart. So you select these types of missions you want to do. They do different things. Here's the game records track for both sides. And here's the answer. District Commander Bindin, District Commander Maracas. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. So cool looking system. All right, one more Hollandspiele game. All right, Well, if you ordered 2 games in the Hollandspiele holiday sale, you got Republic of Virtue for free. This is a game, this is like a throw-in game if you took advantage of the sale, and it's a card game. It came basically as this deck of cards, and it's about sort of the French Revolution, and it's got a pretty funny theme. So the rules to the game come on these 2 cards. Very simple game to learn. It's a tableau builder. It sort of reminds me, after reading these rules, kind of reminds me of like a PAX game in that style of tableau builder, but way simpler than, say, something like PAX Renaissance. So, basically, it's a 2-player game, and you're essentially trying to prevent your French aristocrats from getting beheaded during the French Revolution. And you do that by starting the game with sort of a personage, and then the other card that you don't pick will have these icons on it, and that will, in a suit, and that will influence the cost to play other cards and other people to your tableau. You've got these crisis cards, so this deck, after you get your starting hand, will turn up into a market. Right, so, well, these are all crisis cards, but it'll turn up into a market of 4 cards, basically, and then you've got basically 3 options on your turn. You can buy a card, you can play a card, and so forth, and you're trying to sort of, like, amass victory condition by getting victory points, and sort of the end of the game is basically the beheading of the French aristocracy. And so the people in your tableau, you're trying to get them to survive. Each one has their own sort of special power. You've got these crisis cards, which function similarly to like the comment cards in PAX, somewhat. But anyways, it's a very small game, a very interesting theme, and you know, something that I could travel with. You know, a game that would be great for taking to a friend's house if we have 30 minutes to kill, or if you're out at the bar or a restaurant and you want to play something, whatever it is. Republic of Virtue. I think the only way you can get this is if you buy 2 games in the sale. They may, I guess, maybe put it up for sale later, not sure. But again, really interesting mechanics to a theme that doesn't get a lot of games per se, at least from the political end, and looks pretty fun. So, Republic of Virtue. And finally, not a Hollandspiele game, obviously, but I did pick this up coming out of GMT Warehouse Weekend, and I had no idea. I had seen this on Compass's pre-order site for a while. It's a really cool topic. It's the very end of the Reconquista as the Kingdom of Spain is formed. But I did not know that this uses the Sekigahara system. So it is a block game that uses that whole card system to basically play the end of the Reconquista, which is very cool. The Reconquista, enjoying a bit of a spotlight right now. Almoravid from GMT is coming out soon. I believe also the same artist worked on that game. And so lots of Spanish Muslim Christian conflicts being tackled in the game space. Let me just show you real quick some of the amazing components in this game. So this is a really heavy box because it comes with a lot of wood. You can see here some of the castles and watchtowers that are going to be on the map to designate, you know, and the cubes that designate sort of fortified positions. Sekigahara obviously had fortified castle sieges and whatnot. This game looks like it takes that to a whole new level. You've got these 2 bags of blocks, which are really nicely done. They're not the long rectangular cubes that I would have preferred, but you can see here they're the sort of commands and colors style, cavalry style blocks. Or artillery style blocks, I guess. But you can see some of the graphic design on here. These are the Muslims. You've got your leaders, right? Looks like that's a leader as well, the banner. This is a special leader. 3 units from this particular house. And so you're going to be, like in Sekigahara, you're going to be drawing from this bag to get your units that are available to you each turn. And you're going to be moving them around the board with cards. Cards are particularly well done. I'll show you those in a minute, but here's some of the Christian blocks. I'll just reach in and pull out a few. They are white, so you can see crossbows here, special units, you can see knights, and if you've ever played Sekigahara, you know that these special blocks, when you play them, they boost your attack power if you can match the symbols. So here, for example, some of the houses, some of the Christian houses that you'll be playing. So just a really nice looking game. I love the black and white blocks. And then let me show you some of the cards. So you've got, obviously, in this game, you've got a deck for each side. This looks like the Christian deck. I love the artwork here. It is so beautiful. It is some of the best artwork I've seen in terms of color and visual design and style. I really like the styling of this game. You can see here some of the activation cards for this particular house. Just so awesome. It looks so amazing. Here's the mosaic on the back for the Muslim side. Just beautiful. You know, here's the Andalusians. And you can see there's a naval symbol here. There's naval movement in this game. There's ship units. That was not in Sekigahara. So it adds on to the Sekigahara formula with some other stuff. Here's some Banu Saray. Very cool. I just love it. It's fantastic production. And then here are some of these, looks like, I'm not sure what these are. These are like diplomatic cards. There's seafaring cards. I'm not sure if you make like a check when you sail or what have you. I haven't read the rules yet, but as you can see, just the art. Yeah, I think if there's an award for art in a war game this year, I think this game needs to be sort of top of the list because it is absolutely gorgeous. Let me unfold the map and I'll show you that. So here's the map. It's also utterly gorgeous. It's got these sort of earthy green and red tones to it. You can see the Fatimids are sort of home base in the red area. You've got the Christian areas outside of that. I love the artwork on it, these little castles. The locations, these are roads you're going to move your units across, and these are sort of the home areas where you're going to muster these particular houses, units when you draw them. You can see some of the naval stuff. I love these little touches in the ocean here. It makes it look like sort of a period map when they would draw sort of the ships and the sea monsters and what have you. Victory point tracker on the outside. You've got the turn track up here. You can see the game covers 1482 to 1492, that 10-year period that unites the Kingdom of Spain. And you can see that if I go, you can see here's where you will get your units basically down here. But overall, just a really fantastic production. Compass should be really proud of themselves for this one. This is absolutely fantastic. This is the kind of quality that we're getting in the modern era for war games, and it makes it really appealing and approachable for non-war gamers to play some of these games just because of the way it looks. It's just utterly fantastic. Congratulations to the designer, Jose Rivero, who I mistakenly said was the artist earlier. The artist actually is, let me get that credit because I should fix that. The Ivan Caceres is the artist for this game. And so he's the one who's worked on Almoravid. Jose Rivero is the designer. Both of them, congratulations for this publication. It's utterly gorgeous, and I cannot wait to get this on the table as well and played. In fact, I have a lot of games I need to play. Where am I going to find time to do all this content? Well, lucky for you, I have played a little bit of stuff over the past month or two, and I'm going to be doing a video soon about a game that I played 3 or 4 weeks ago that I thoroughly enjoyed, that is also a new arrival in the house that I did not do a video on. But I did want to show you this look at Granada Last Stand of the Moors because I think if you really like Sekigahara, I think this could be an absolute winner for you. Anyways, thanks for watching. I will be back hopefully sooner than I was between this video and the last one, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks again for your comments and whatnot. Even on the older videos, I enjoyed discussing history and war games with all of you in the comments, and it's been super awesome. So I appreciate your continued attention.